Hi everyone, this is Selvi. Today's topic is why we need to estimate task when already the parent work item, that is the user story, is estimated, and why are we estimating task in hours. So this question itself has two parts. So first let's try to understand why we need to estimate task when already the parent work item, that is the user story, is estimated. And then we will come to the second part of the question. So first let's try to understand how are we estimating user stories. User stories are estimated with the help of story points. And whenever we are estimating user stories, we consider many factors. Why are we considering many factors? Let's try to understand. What are the factors that we consider? Complexity, dependencies, risk, business value that it is going to deliver, and of course the amount of work that is involved. These all factors we are including. We can only include the amount of work, but why are we including the other factors? The other factors are uncertain. Those factors may change. That is the difference in Agile. And in story, when we are writing the story, slowly it will get into the refined state and it will reach a level that we know that this is the business value that we are trying to achieve with the story. This is the logical outcome that we are expecting out of the story. We will be getting that clarity, but there are chances and there are uncertainties still available in that. Like, what is the level of complexity? What are the dependencies? What are the risks? Those uncertainties may change the estimation into a different level. That is the reason we always go with relative estimation for stories and not the absolute estimation values, which is time. So now stories are estimated. Why we need to estimate task? We will understand that, but before that I will give an example from our day-to-day life. I'll give one of the example that I have experienced so that it's very easy for all of us to connect stories and task and why we can estimate that, why we cannot estimate this in relative estimation. That kind of clarity I want to explain. Actually, I need to attend a friend's family function. My friend was staying at a different city. So my situation is slightly different. I am a new driver. So let's consider the story statement is, as a new driver, I want to travel to my friend's native city to attend the function so that I can participate in the function and meet all the family members and friends. This is my story. So as I defined my role, goal and benefit, I talked about. Role is I am a new driver. What is the goal? I need to visit my friend's family function. What is the benefit? I will be able to meet all the family members as well the friends. So for this story, we all got the clear picture. What is the story I'm trying to implement? Now, as a new driver, so that brings a level of complexity because I am not a trained driver. I am a beginner. So the level of my driving is not that advanced or expert level. It is at the very beginning level. I am a beginner. The dependencies are, I am not sure about the traffic situation because I am going to travel. I am going to start by evening and I will be able to reach in some time. I am not sure. So when my friend was asking me, hey, Selvi, when are you reaching my home? I was thinking about all the factors. As I mentioned, I am a new driver. That brings a level of complexity. I need to travel to a different city, which actually I'm not sure about the traffic, how it is going to be. The risk factors, I am going to travel during the rainy season. So there are situations, it may rain and completely that there is a traffic jam or something. I may get blocked. I'm not sure. That's a risk. And the business value, of course, it is high because I need to attend my friend's family function. No other option for me. And the time taken for journey, that is the amount of time that is required, that is always there considering all these factors. that is also there. So I talked about complexity, risk, dependencies. Then I have a situation like the high business value. And the next one is the amount of work, that is the effort that I'm going to invest to travel from this place to that place. What is the time factor? These all things are there. I am unable to give the exact time. I cannot give it like 3 years or 2 years because I'm not sure, because there are so many uncertainties in this. And another big uncertainty is like I'm going to travel starting by evening, and I may need to drive the whole night. I'm not sure. I may take some rest in between because I may feel so sleepy. I'm not sure about that situation. So there are so many uncertainties here. So now in this condition, when my friend was dialing me and asking, "Hey, Selvi, when are you going to reach for the function?" I just said that, "Hey, by morning I'll reach." I just give a kind of general statement here. I am not said in 2 hours I will reach, in 3 hours I will reach, because I'm not sure, because there are a lot of uncertainties. Now, this helps me in putting in a level of how to manage uncertainties. This is the story level estimation, right? I said like I'll reach by morning. Now let's break the story into task. That is called as task breakdown. Okay, task breakdown I'm going to do. First, I need to start my vehicle. I need to fill the gas if it is not there in my car. Then I need to ensure that I'm using the GPS so that I travel according to the map, according to the suggestion. And I am going to follow the route. Then I'm going to stop at a particular place for my dinner. I'll have my dinner, then again I'll start. I'll drive and I'll reach at a particular place. These all are the different tasks. There can be many tasks, but I'm just saying high level task. Okay, this is how we will be doing a task breakdown, like starting the vehicle, filling the gas, then stopping for the dinner. Then if I need to take some rest, I'm taking rest. These all are different tasks. So these all tasks, can I give absolute values? Of course I can give. Like having dinner, I'm stopping at a particular place. I know I'm going to order some food, and even though they are taking some time, I know what is the maximum time it will take to get my dinner done. I know like 30 minutes, I'm guessing. So I'm like saying 30 minutes, and that is my estimate to complete the task of having my dinner. Filling the gas at gas station, how much time it will take? 15 minutes, done. So these all are estimates I am able to give actually using the time, which is absolute estimation. How can I give this? Because here I don't have any uncertainties. What is the uncertainty for going and having dinner? I am just getting down my car and I'm just getting into the restaurant and I'm ordering the food. I'm getting the food, I'm having the food, I'm returning back to my car. These are the simple steps I'm going to do in that, right? So I don't see any kind of dependency, any kind of risk. Of course, they may take some time for preparing my dinner, but I know what is the maximum time that they will take to bring my dinner. So I am going to use that as my reference and the estimation. Planned estimate is like 30 minutes. I know that I'm going to order, for example, I'm going to order one pizza. Okay, I'm going to order one pizza, and I'm very sure by what time I will be able to get my pizza on table, and how much time I will be taking to have that pizza and return to my car. I know that what is the maximum time for all these steps it will take. Is there any other risk? No, I don't see any risk. There is no uncertainty. I know that the restaurant is open, and very well I can go and have my dinner. So usually task will have crisp information, and this information we will be very well knowing what we will be performing and without any kind of uncertainties. That's the reason we always will be in a position to estimate task in absolute values, that is with the help of time. Whereas, as a whole story of my journey from my home to my friend's home, I don't know what all the uncertainties I will face. That's the reason I was unable to give the exact value with the help of absolute time. Instead, I have given with the help of relative value, that is, I have just said to her by morning, because I know there are a lot of factors involved in it. Same way, now let's come to our project example. Before getting into task, let me explain the hierarchy of work items. The hierarchy of work items, there will be epic, and inside epic there will be many features, and within a feature there will be n number of user stories, and within a user story there can be n number of task or subtask. This is how the hierarchy is going to be. Let's as of now keep epic and feature aside, because for a team will be start implementing user stories. So the execution part will start from user stories for a team. So we are going to consider user story. So we know now user story is actually a placeholder where we are going to deliver a business value, but that can have certain uncertainties. May or may not have. We actually try to resolve all the uncertainties, resolve all the dependencies, and try to reduce the complexity and ensure what is the amount of work that is required, and knowing what is the business value. With all these factors only we are estimating. But user story is a place where we are going to use that user story to deliver a business value. So when we are estimating, we are using different factors for estimation. That is the reason we follow relative estimation. We are unable to give any kind of exact figures using the absolute values of time. We use relative estimation model here to estimate a user story, because there are chances of uncertainties while implementing the user story. Now we got the clarity. User story is estimated in user story points, considering different factors and using relative estimation model, because we expect in Agile there are changes that can come, there are uncertainties that can happen. So we are using relative estimation model and not the absolute values. Now task. Anyway, we have estimated story. Why task is required? Task is required because we want to understand where are we today, whether we are seeing any kind of hiccups, are we on the plan. To understand all these things, we need task. And task breakdown is very important activity that is performed by the team when we prepare the sprint backlog. The next thing is, for every work item we should come up with the task breakdown. And when I say task breakdown, the advantage is, let's consider daily stand-up meeting. In daily stand-up meeting, as a team, we will be reviewing and monitoring the burn down chart. What is burn down chart going to tell us? It helps us in understanding whether we are at the right track, or are we lagging, or are we at the good state. It will help us in understanding these details. But to understand this detail, how are we going to express that information? First thing is, with respect to time, we need to consider the task in hours. Like in hours. Why in hours? Now let's consider. For example, I don't have task at all in user stories. I am working on a user story with user story points 8. Burn down, what it will tell? How much we have completed and what is remaining. Now let's take in x-axis the number of days in the sprint. Y-axis, story points. What will happen? 8 story points. When 8 story points will actually get completed? Maybe at 8th day or 9th day of the sprint if the length of the sprint is 2 weeks. Now, till 8th day or 9th day, if some stakeholder wants to understand what is the actual progress of this story, if I'm not at all creating any task for any stakeholder other than the team members, because team members are aware because they are attending the stand-up meeting. Scrum Master and Product Owner also may be aware what I'm working because they are also attending the stand-up. Let's consider a person who is not in this group and who is a stakeholder who is viewing the detail on 5th day of the sprint. What he or she is going to get the information, whether I am on track with that user story or it is going to be completed in another day, or it may not even get completed in the sprint, it may become a spillover. What sort of clarity they will get? They may not get any information because burn down chart says still that 8 stories is on 8 stories only, because every day I cannot reduce the story points, right? So it is going to be 8 story points only. So for any other person, how they can understand where I am actually with this progress? No. And even within the team also, how much we are progressing and what is remaining, are we on track? How to understand? It's little hard. Like maybe with story points, even though I'm explaining in the daily stand-up, I'm not really sure whether I'm on track or not, whether I'm facing any kind of challenges, whether I need some support, or it may get into a spillover. Without task, it's really hard to understand these details. Now let's consider if there are tasks. When we are adding task, we will be estimating task in absolute values. As I mentioned, it's all like going to the restaurant and taking dinner. I know how much time exactly it's going to take. Maybe here or there we can expect some changes in the time, like I can take extra 15 minutes or I may even complete my dinner early. But I know that what is the approximate time which is going to take. That is my planned estimate. And what will happen? It will be very much closer to the actual estimate. So there won't be any issues because I'm very much clear about what task I'm going to perform. So now I'll be creating the task. I'll be putting the number of hours that are required for this task. So like that, every task we will be keep adding the number of hours that are required. So in the burn down chart, let's consider in the y-axis, instead of story points, let's add these hours. So I am the only person in the team. Let's take like that for example, for easy understanding. 40 hours I have planned. So every day, at the end of the day, I will be adding what is the actual hours I have spent, and it will be keep on reducing from 40. First day I would have spent 7 hours, next day I would have spent 6 hours, next day I had only able to spend only 2 hours because I got into some issue or a blocker. So now third day, as per the plan, work was not completed. Now others and the scrum master, product owner, everyone in the team can understand that I am somehow deviated from the plan. I need some kind of support now, otherwise this story may get into a spillover. So this actually explains very well for anyone who is reading the burn down chart than using the story points. And the next thing is, why story points are expressed in hours? As we mentioned, we know the crisp information, like what exactly we are going to do as a task. We know that level of clarity. That's the reason we are able to give that absolute value estimation, which is with the help of hours, that is a time value. And as I was talking about the hierarchy, user stories are meant to be completed within a sprint. We cannot plan a user story that cut across different sprints, like sprint 1 and sprint 2 this story is targeted. No, we cannot do like that. A story means it should be completed within a sprint. Similarly, a task means it should be completed within a day. What will happen if I am unable to complete because the task is slightly bigger? If you have a real justification, plan it for not more than 2 days any task, because the reason is we are very much clear what we are going to do. Then why we need to face that kind of challenge? Now I am going to give an example from our project itself. Let's consider the search functionality implementation. What as a task? Story is, as an admin, as an user, I want to use the search functionality so that I can get the specific product details. Now, for this particular story, what you will be implementing as a task, you will be putting a text field and give a kind of search icon there. This is one task, placing this. You know that very well, you have the design already available. Placing this in the UI page, how much time it will take, you know that. So this is one of your task. And similarly, you will be creating the API, integrating the API with the UI page, writing the unit test cases, incorporating the review comments, and code review. Code review, you will be giving already a heads up to the reviewers that I'm going to share with you the code, so please be ready to review that. So you know that how much time it is going to take, and even some review comments are coming, what is the time that you may need to take, you also are aware of that. So all these tasks, and all these tasks are we are very well aware of that information. These tasks can be very well estimated with the help of absolute values, that is in time, because we are very much aware of what we are going to do. There is no doubt in that. That is the reason we use task with the help of absolute values, that is in time, as estimates. So in a nutshell, we are estimating user stories with the help of story points, because we understand in Agile there are situations we consider as uncertainties for a user story while implementation. That is the reason we consider different factors also while estimation. That is the reason we are unable to give the actual value. Instead, we are using relative estimation model. So in relative estimation model, we have the option to represent it in Fibonacci series or t-shirt sizing, and we are not at all giving anything in absolute values. Whereas in task, we are very much clear about what we are going to do on that particular day, and we don't have any kind of uncertainties here. We are very well aware of what is the exact thing that we need to do. That is the reason we are able to plan our estimate with the help of absolute value, that is with time. And always user stories should be planned in such a way it should get completed within a sprint, and tasks should be planned in such a way it should get completed within a day. And why are we creating tasks? For better management and for better clarity, to understand whether any blockers or are we on track or any kind of hiccups. And task management helps us in understanding, not only from the team side, for also for any stakeholders, where are we actually progressing. I think this episode would have cleared all the details about estimation related to stories and tasks, and why in relative estimation model for stories, and why absolute values with the help of time for task, and also about task management. Thank you everyone for listening. Happy learning and stay tuned.